My name is Benny Ming. I'm the curator of the Wing Chun Museum. Welcome to the third tape series of the Yip-Man Wing Chun system. This tape is going to be covering Chum Kyu, which is the intermediate level of the Wing Chun system. Chum Kyu in Cantonese again means searching the bridge. Let's analyze what does that really mean. Okay, Chum, searching. A lot of people look at it as searching the bridge as though you're looking for your opponent's bridge, such as a hand or feet. But in essence, you must look within yourself. So you are actually searching your own bridge. Everyone have two hands and two legs. So what does that mean in training? Is that you're looking for the proper body conditions, body structures, and coordination to go along with it. Because now that you have to learn how to move within the motions, within the movements, if your structure breaks down, then you're going to have a problem. So therefore, you're looking for your own bridge. For example, if my foot is certain distance, if I step, I'm going to maintain that certain distance. I'm not going to be changing that distance. So in essence, I'm looking for those bridges. So that's what searching means. Kyu means bridge. So you can look at it, Chum Kyu is a bridge that takes you from Silim Tao to Bilji. Okay, from developmental stage to application stage. So that is what the bridge is all about. Chum Kyu introduced a lot of new techniques. So let's break it down, look at each areas. First, we have what we call stances. Okay, in Silim Tao, you have Yiji Kim Yong Ma, which allow you to develop very strong balance, allow you to sink the weight to have a very strong stability. But in the application stage, balance and stability is not enough. You must learn how to move. So balance and mobility. So the first stance in Chum Kyu is what we call Yao Ma, Zhou Ma. When you pivot left foot, so both feet is parallel, okay? This become Yao Ma, means right side stance. Zhou Ma, left side stance. So this is first introduction of right stance and left stance. So because human beings are symmetrical, we don't really, in a Wing Chun system, we don't really look at the front and back as much as right and left, right and left. So at this stage, you can still use both hands and both feet. So Yao Ma, Zhou Ma, right side stance, left side stance. So we have what we call side stance. Next stance, we have what we call back stance. Okay? Basically, it's when you step forward, when you have a foot that is stepping forward and then the other foot follows. This is what we call back stance. So let's look at it from the side. Okay, Yiji Kim Yong Ma is what we call a basic stances where all other stances come from. So if you pivot one foot out, side stance. So my orientation is right and left. Now if I turn my whole body facing this way, now this becomes a back stance. So there's a difference in how you face that determines the difference in the stances. Why? Because in essence, the structure is the same. Okay, the structure for side stance in the legs is same structure as you are doing the back stance. Okay, again, in order to apply your tools in combat, okay, in a combat is very sophisticated environments. You must do something that is natural, and you must do something that is simple. So everything within Wing Chun is economy of motion and simple and direct. So we don't have too many variations in the techniques because that way you can really apply it in actual self-defense. So those two, Yao Ma, Zhou Ma, Hao Ma, Hao Ma consists of two basic new stances in the Chum Kyu level. Next, we're going to go into footwork. Again, you can look at stances as like the beginning and the ending of every motion within the body. Because once you stop, you're in some kind of stances. But in actual situations, in application, your body is never stop in motion. It's always constantly moving. So mobility is one of the most important attributes in the Tum-Kyu level. So now let's look at the mobility, which consists of footwork. In Tum-Kyu, we have 3 basic footwork as an introduction. First is based on the side stances, Yao Ma, Zhou Ma, okay? When you advance to the side, okay, we call bracing motions. We call this side step as a bracing, okay? The purpose is that you want to be able to go out or go in between your opponent's attack, okay? Let's look at what we call outside bracing. You step to the side and brace back in. Step to the side, brace back in. Okay, against a straight line attack, you might want to avoid that energy. So therefore, you step out and come back to the center. That's what we call outside bracing. Next, you have the reverse, called inside bracing. Attack coming from outside, you have an advantage in the inside. So you turn and brace. Turn and brace. Turn and brace. Okay, again, let's look at those 2 bracing. Okay, you have brace out, you have brace in. So one is step, turn for the outside, step, turn. You go out and then back in. The other one is turn and step, which is inside bracing. Okay, those footwork allow you to make the proper angle adjustments with the minimum of motions, okay, staying consistent with the economy of motion, okay. So you have side bracing. Next, we have what we call Big Ma, means to press forward. In Wing Chun, as you advance, you have a lot of basic technique. It's very effective, okay, such as the hands, okay, fire like a machine gun. So therefore, you must have footwork to support that. Because you can't have a hand that is traveling, throwing 6, 7, 8 punches per second, and then the footwork is stepping slow like that. So you must have a footwork that matches the hand speed. So this Big Ma not only allow you to travel forward, but allow you to make the small shuffle step very, very fast. Okay? So allow you to constantly eating up your opponent's space by pressing it. That's why we call this Big Ma. Okay, again, step, slide, step, slide. Okay? So the body structure is the same as the side stance. Okay? So one more time. You can see this is what we call Big Ma, stepping and slide. Okay? Big Ma is the front foot advance, back foot follows. Okay, the last one is called Biu Ma. Okay, Biu in Wing Chun means to thrust. Okay, it's a strong motion involve the whole body. So how is that being applied? When you advance with the back foot going straight in, okay, it's a full step, which normally carries more momentum, more energy. So as a thrust, we go forward. Okay? So when you have a back foot advance, go straight out. Okay, that's called thrusting. So you have basic fundamental footwork being introduced at this level with the side steps, front step, okay, both with the front foot or build with the back foot. So those are our basic fundamental steps that allow you to have wheels on your cilium tau. Okay, so mobility plus the body unity of cilium tau. Now you have seen the stances and footwork. Let's look at some of the new hand techniques, arms technique within the Tum-Kyu level. In an offensive system like Wing Chun, okay, every part is used. The hands, the forearm, and the elbow. So in a Tum-Kyu, one of the first techniques being introduced is builds out forward, which expresses the forearm energy, and you have what we call Pai Zhang. Okay, it's an elbow slice technique. So now you've been introduced an elbow technique called pai zhang. Then you have some other techniques that goes back into the punching. Okay, most of the time when Chen, people look at it as a straight line system. You always go straight. But in reality of combat, straight line attack is important. But you also have to have the curved line attack, such as a hook or uppercut. Okay, so we do have that in the Wing Chun system. Where do you find that? In the textbook. Textbook is what the form is. So in Tam Kyu, we have some of the curved technique, such as uppercut. Okay, from the forms, this is called Cao Kun, uppercuts. And as well as some of the diagonal, okay, different diagonal side punches. So those are some of the new hand techniques. The elbows, the uppercuts, and the angle we'll call parry, outside parry punches. Okay? Later on, as I demonstrate the form, you see if you can identify those techniques. Now, in addition to the offensive techniques, there are some of new defensive techniques. Okay, one of them is what we call Quan Sao. Okay, looks like a Bong Sao motion, but in essence, you're using these techniques as a way to intercept, as a way to jam your technique together. When you have a Bong and a Tan Sao or Wu Sao, we call it Quan Sao. Okay. Also Lan Sao. Lan in Chinese means to fence. So you're fencing off certain space. Obviously, that space is yourself. Okay? You engage with a Bong, you come in with strong energy. So you cut your distance, allow the energy to go past you. So you develop a Lan Sao. So that's also seen in the form. So you have a new technique, Quan Sao, Lan Sao. So those are more of a defensive nature. Again, Wing Chun is not a defensive art, because if you're going to do combat, okay, it has to be offensive. You have to take the initiative. So every defensive posture is to set up your opponent so you can express your offensive techniques. The last group of new technique within the Tam Kyu form I want to discuss is one of my favorite. It's kicking. Okay, so again, in reality of combat, you're going to strike, you're going to grab, you're going to lock, and of course, you're going to kick. Wing Chun, we have a saying, every step is a kick. Every step, not just a simple step forward. In Tam Kyu, you introduce two of the most fundamental kicks. Okay, now a lot of time we say fundamental. You look at, oh, this is basic stuff, but fundamental is the essence. Okay, without those two kicks, your other variations in kicks will lose its effectiveness. Okay, the human body, the strongest part within the legs is the heel. Okay, the heel. You know, every day you walk on your heel. Okay, every time we put our feet down, it's the heel. So that becomes a very strong structure for us to put the kicks, to rely on kicks onto that particular strong structures. So both of the kicks within the Wing Chun, what we call a front kick and a side kick, utilize the heel. And let's look at it from a structural point of view. Okay, the heel is being the contact point. Okay, you flex your foot. Okay, so you can expose your heel. Now this is what we call zeng gyo, because my body is maintaining straight. Straight. And notice my structure is still maintaining the sternum top structure. In addition to the front kick, you have what we call side kick. Sometimes, if you have opponents from the side and it's within your kicking distance, then side kick becomes appropriate. Okay, or you can turn and then kick him with front kick. Depends on the time and space. Depends on the situations. Okay, so front kick and side kick both are fundamentally. It covers the boundaries for the kicking. So side kick. Okay, when we practice side kick, you can start like a front kick, step, kick. Okay, with the front kick, same thing. When you do side kick, step, kick. So this is dealing with the body. Okay, turning. So we call that side kick because in essence, come from the side. Now you notice I've been kicking low, never above my waist. Okay, because again, economy of motion. You don't want to kick above that in a real situation. Just like I probably is not going to use my hand to punch somebody's knee. There's always time or place for everything, but you have to maintain the principle of economy of motion. So we have a saying in Wing Chun, we never kick above the waist, okay? It's for safety factors as well as for economy of motion, okay? Going back to the structure, side kick, when you do a side kick with the heel exposed, with all the joints straight, so all your energy is being expressed at the final heel, the expression, the energy coming out from the heel. So again, it's one of the most strongest technique in martial arts. All system of martial art has side kick. So front kick, quick, short, powerful. Side kick is one of the long extension that you can do within the Wing Chun systems. Okay, let's review some of the new techniques being introduced in the Chum-Kyo. Okay, again, everything began with a proper stance. Okay, side stance. This is a Yao Ma, Zuo Ma. Then you have a back stance. Okay, simply that means your orientation is facing to the side. So you have a front and a back position. When your orientation is right and left, then you don't have a front and back. You only have right and left. So you have two types of stances, the side stance and the back stance. But in structure, they're the same. Then again, we'll go into the footwork. Footwork, you have bracing, outside bracing, inside bracing. Okay, after bracing, you have to learn how to move laterally. Okay, step slide for quick advances, or for strong energy, large steps. You have your Biu-Ma, which the back foot crosses the front foot, taking a full step. Biu-Ma. Okay, so fundamental steps allow you to start to utilize your feet. Mobility is most important. If you can't move, you can't deliver your offensive or defensive capabilities. Okay. Now some of the offensive hand we have, new technique, Pai Zhang, Cao Kun, Xiu Kun, diagonal punch. Okay. Straight punch, you've seen it in Silim Tao. Uppercut being introduced. Outside parry is being introduced here. So they represent different angle of attack. Okay, some of the defensive hand, Quan Zao, Lan Zao, Lan Zao. So Quan Zao, Lan Zao. Then last, we're talking about kicks. You have a fundamentally front kick, then you have a side kick. Front and the side. So those are the fundamental technique as something new that you can play with in the Chum-Kyo system. Okay, now you have seen the Chum-Kyo form with regular speed, okay, with regular energy. Let's look at it one section at a time and break it down into more details, okay? The beginning, same as Silim Tao. Open up of Yi Coming Ma. Now in Silim Tao, you draw the hand down, crosses the center line, bring your hands up to the middle gate, pull back. In Tam Kyo, if you notice, there's a slight difference. Hands down, but it has an inward rotation, okay? Because now that you are learning how to develop it into two-hand Quan Sao system, you must learn how to develop the flexibility in the elbow. So the opening expresses that. Okay, now, beginning stage, your punches come here, then goes out. Okay, now that you have passed that level, so wherever your fist is, should be able to fire out from wherever the starting position is. So from here, shoots out. So more natural, okay, but it's still elbow down, straight punch, okay? So that's like the beginning variations, okay? After the punch, you have a double biu sao or zam sao, okay? Zam in Chinese means rest. You're basically resting your hands onto your opponent's bridge, okay? I will show you the application later. So after biu sao, then you sink into hao ma, right back stance with the elbow technique. Left back stance with the elbow technique. Okay? Right back stance with the elbow. The next, biu sao up to your higher gate. Then sink the elbow into double tan sao. Pot, 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 palm, palm, palm. Okay? Then comes over with lan sao, quan sao, lan sao, quan sao, lan sao, quan sao. Then from here, notice my hand is not on my center. It's by my elbows. Drop the elbow, pull the energy back and punch same time. Okay? Okay, now we're going to talk about section 2. Okay, begin with a back stance, lan sao. Then it's a kao sao, front kick, quan sao with a side step. Then this is where the token, the uppercut, then fuk sao, back. And repeat same thing on the side. Lan sao, kao sao, jing gyok, quan sao with a side step, quan ma, cao kun, fuk sao, chun sao, back. Okay? Now, this time, you see the form is not just turning now. This time, you actually see the motions. Okay? Your body actually moving. Okay? So it's even more important that you maintain your body structures. That's again searching. You're searching for those identity of a good structure. So you're not going to be stepping 1 and then 2 like this. Okay? Or you're not going to be having your hands too far and one time having your hands too close. So the self-structure, okay, the body mechanics has to be consistent. That is one of the most important things that you have to search for. Third section. Kick. Okay, this is called Dai Bong Sao. Okay, in Tam Kyo, you have a low Bong Sao. In Silim Tao, you have a high Bong Sao. Tan, step slide, Dai Bong Sao. Dai Bong Sao. From here, double jut. You notice my foot, the timing is the same time with the hand. So I'm using my whole body to express the hand technique. Again, you're using the whole body unity. Okay? The whole body pushes up. Everything is done with the whole body. Front kick, big ma, low bong sao. Okay? Consistently with the same speed for proper timing training. 1. So you're not going to be doing this. 1, 2, 3. Okay? The timing will be off. Okay? 1. Jut sao with the whole body. Push up with the whole body. Now next, you have 2 kicks. There's actually 2 variations. Okay? Grandmaster Yiman, when he does his Tam Kyo form, what he does is called facing and a front kick. He comes down with a bracing stance. Okay, called 對形正腳. 對形 means facing. 整个 front kick. So looks like a side kick because he's turning, but actually if you break it down, it's turn, kick, and down. So in essence, it's a front kick. There's a second variation you can do. It's actually 45 degrees. You look at the target, side kick, and then comes down. So you can either do a front kick with a turning, or you can do a side kick. Let's watch that again. Okay, front kick with a facing. Side kick. Gum sao, punch, punch, finish. So you see the kicks have those two variations there. Okay. The last part is 3 gum sao. Now in the Silim Tao gum sao, you have a straight down motion. Again, that's more the developmental stage. You learn how to channel that energy down, learn how to relax, okay? And then also train your shoulder. Now, more of an application, you must have a proper angle for the gum sao. Okay, so those are some of the details within Tsamgyu. So what I'd like to do now is introduce my assistant, Jeremy Rorak. He is my assistant in the museum as an instructor, but he's a senior certification instructor under the Yip Man system, certified by the Wing Chun Athletic Associations. So Jeremy is going to demonstrate some of the common mistakes. Let's go through section 1, see some of the things I can point out here. In combat, in application, what is more important is efficiency. Okay? Right now, if you notice that his weight is in the back foot. So if he were going to strike with the elbow this way, or forward energy is going to come into a challenge, it doesn't take too much to do that because he's not centered. So he lost the original idea of Silim Tao, maintaining the center. So because the weight is not properly centered. So let's shift that back. Now he have a better structure because weight is still maintained in the center. Now the structure is strong. Okay? So as we turn and shift, very easy to go outside and become one-sided. Again, our human structure is two-sided, right hand and left hand. So when you turn, you want to maintain your center line. So it's 50-50 weight. Okay, please continue. Okay, so pretty good. So let's have him do section 2. Okay, again, you see his weight is shifted too much to the back. Okay, again. See, in a posture like this, you're telegraphing your opponent the intention. If his weight's in the back, I know for a fact that he can use his front foot to kick, where the back foot is immobilized. So it's better not to give out the intention. When you're going to use the technique, use it with proper timing. That means don't telegraph before you're going to use. So the structure have to maintain neutral. So shift back to 50-50 again, 50-50 weight again. Okay, now there was a big mistake there. You notice that we are searching for our proper structure, okay? The space between our hands, okay? He goes out to the proper distance, and he's going to draw his hand all the way back. Now, in essence, what he have done is collapse his bridge. In Wing Chun, we have a concept called tsukyu. Tsukyu, that means your bridge is being jammed. Right now, he pulled his hand all the way back. So, in case his energy is being challenged, he cannot use his hand and bring this hand back out because now it's already collapsed. He must fight his way out. That's force against force. Okay? Now, if he would have done it correctly, now see, his elbow is in front of him. He has the leverage to retain his body structure. So make sure you maintain the distance. So the bong sao and the tan sao, let's say he goes to the bong sao, it's the same distance right here. Drop to, right. So your elbow cannot be here and then back to here. That's incorrect. So elbow maintaining the same distance. That's very important Because you lose your striking ability if your elbows jam. So you're gonna have to play a wrestling game. Okay? Go on. Oh, look at that, look at that. Okay, now he changed his Wing Chun structure again. Okay, so he created a distortion within the space. Now he have no balance. Okay, he lost the original structure. Again, this is the type of thing you're searching for. You gotta have proper positions within your hands, within your feet. So please correct that. Okay, third section, let's look at it. Okay, now the little details, okay? You're supposed to maintain your elbow inside of your shoulder. As he's crank his hand down to low bong sao, his elbow fly out. In essence, this is already jammed. In essence, this is weak because I might be engaging him here, and then if his elbow fly out, then this is weak. So this structure cannot stop my punch. Okay, all I have to do is continue to press that problem. So his elbow have to maintain within the shoulder line. Now he can easily deflect me out to the side. So pay attention to the elbows. Right, now the elbow is correct. Right, see, as you can see, the structure of Stadium Towel is properly maintained as he starts to move. That is the bridge that you are searching for. Next, I'd like to demonstrate some of the basic applications from section 1. Let's say if he throws me a punch, where I thrust out, okay, this is more offensive, this is to cut his bridge. Or, zam sao means to rest. Let's say he jammed my bridge, where I want to recover. So you have a technique that simply rotate the energies away from you, then you can put that energy back down, called resting, called zam sao. Okay, you can look at that again. Zam sao. Then you can follow with the elbow strike. That's the sequence you see here. 1, 2, 3. This is called pai zhang. It's one of the basic elbow techniques. Let's look at section 2. We have a common technique. Quan ma bong sao. Quan ma quan sao. Okay? So the purpose of that is to be able to intercept, to jam your opponents. At the same time, if the energy is strong, you can redirect. Let's do it from this side. Quan sao. Okay? So I'm bracing myself. The both toe pointing same directions. Then right away from the lap sao drill you learn, you can strike him. Okay? Or sometimes you need to make that slightly adjustments. That's why you have to move your hands and step. So this technique is very effective redirecting. Like I said, you can jam him by stepping forward. Again, follow up. Okay? You can intercept him or you can redirect him. Let him pass you. Okay, so you must have ability of stepping, slide, and use the hand same time. If you're standing still like this, he punches, then you're doing a hard style, force against force. Okay? So that's some of the application behind this technique right here. Okay? Now this also has a sinking motion. Okay, up, down. Let's say he throw me a punch. Okay. Let's look at section 3. Let's this time use a chi sao as an example. If his bridge is very heavy, and he took my center line, okay, vertically, so right now my hand's too low. So I'm not gonna give up this space. I'm not gonna run because he can hit me. So I have to continue to stick. So when your hand's in trouble, you should stick to get the control back. So this time, rather than try to fight up, try to lift up, then you simply try to go with the energy. From here, low bong sao. So my center line is still shut, so he cannot touch me. So this maintain a low bong sao. Or a simple application, if I punch, he blocks my hand. Okay, low bong sao, and then goes out. So you can see this energy is being simply redirect it. Okay, so from a low ball point of view. Last, I want to cover kicks. As I kick, my feet and my direction of power is all stepping out. Okay, some of the tournament you see, they start out like this with feet apart. Okay, a guy charges in. Okay, I'm going to get a point. Now, when you're dealing with small energy, such as a quick point, you can get away with it because you're not dealing with a large structure coming at you. You're not dealing with the reality of really strong energy. Reality, when you shift your weight in the back, and if he's a linebacker, 250 pounds coming at you, he comes in, where I'm going to kick him, it's going to totally knock me off. Okay, that's the reality. So you cannot kick this way and then your body going opposite way. See, if you look at my structure again, see, I'm already going backwards. Okay, inconsistent. Your structure and energy have to go the same directions. So in Wing Chun, we have a small structure. If he comes into my space, I'm going to kick him, is when my feet directions, the whole body is going towards that direction, exactly where I want it. Okay, so the energy have to be consistent. So therefore, what you're training here is feet together and kick out. Okay, so we have a step, feet together, kick. Okay, this kind of brings the concept of what we call, when you kick, your heel have to face each other. At the beginning of the tape, I introduced the kicks. You might have noticed that we have a kick that has two steps. 1, 2. 1, 2. So this is a basic exercise to develop a proper angle of attack later on. Okay? The heel right now lining up. 1, see, the heel line up. The heel actually line up like the first ceiling towel, 1, 2. Okay? So this little step helps your body to go towards the direction you want to go and to increase your distance. If I had a good position here, watch. By maintaining a neutral position, that means the stance is not right or left. Okay? It's 50-50. Then I can kick left or right. But sometimes you're at a distance from here too far, or I want to sidestep. That's when we start to step into our center to make that angle adjust. Or if he comes straight in, I want to step to the side. Allow me to put myself into this position here. So this half a step to the center allow me to readjust the distance, readjust the angles. Okay? And I create a momentum going towards the kick, the direction that I want. 1, 2. Everything is going towards the direction of the kick. Not one part of the body going back and one part of the body going in opposite directions. So again, you lose efficiency in terms of energy. So those are some of the searching in terms of attribute you're looking for right now. So next, I'd like to go into the attributes. In addition to the coordination, the balance, the mobility that you develop through the moving, okay, you have to learn how to generate power through the whole body. Okay, when you have a body that supports your hands or feet, in essence, in combat, that's what we call a force multiplier. Okay, a big guy might be strong. If he just uses his arm to punch, it's not as strong as a smaller guy that uses his whole body to punch. So idea is to generate proper momentum with an efficient way. So that means every motion, you use the whole body. So you have a force multiplier. So let's look at Kyu. Okay, this is a regular opening. Okay, there's slight momentum going up and sink. Okay, you're dealing with up and down. Again, whole body is supporting. Okay, how you generate momentum is to use the whole body. Okay, if he comes in with a strike where I jut with my whole body, then my hands become stronger. Okay, when I sink the bridge with my whole horse, becomes stronger. Okay, same thing. If I was going to strike him just with the hands or with the whole body. Okay, so you have this up and down motions that allow you to become more efficient in power. That's what you see here. Okay? Next. Now this is also obvious. Turning is one of the best ways to generate power. Okay, imagine a pitcher in baseball, okay, without the momentum, okay, without the rounding and then full turning of the body. So turning can generate a lot of momentum to give you that increase in power. So this also adds the momentum, especially dealing with the elbow strike. Because you're dealing with no space, a short range, you must generate momentum from somewhere else. Here you see it's being generated through the torque of the body. So turning is another way for humans to generate power, not just up and down. Okay, now there's two parts. You see, in Wing Chun we have a lot of hand technique. It's a combination, okay? Once you get the momentum started, the next sequence of technique become more efficient, okay? It's like a car. The stepping on the gas, initial going is burn most of the gas. So that's why most of our technique goes out in 2s or 3s to generate that extra momentum, okay? Also, the last part of the form, you see, Jeremy had pulled this hand back and this hand goes out, same time. Because every action, there's a reaction. When this hand goes out and hits the body, there's going to be a reaction coming back. So this hand counteract that reaction. So you develop proper energy and have a more structure, okay? Because your energy is created properly to counter that reaction of force. So this energy, this hand go back as quick as the hand goes out. So all this has to do with the energy factor, which ultimately affects your power. Okay, let's look at section 2. Okay, now you see again, every motion of the hands, the body moves simultaneously. Okay. So if you just use the hand without motion of the body, your body is not being utilized. Again, the torque of the hip, the circular motion generate actual power. Okay, third section. So now this is a big mark. So again, okay, a strike with the hands is not as good as a strike with the whole body. So he's moving along with his technique. Again, how we generate momentum? Up and down, turning, obviously is forward as well. Okay, you see again his body have a motion of up and down to give more power to his techniques. Okay, moving as his hand is going, the whole body coordinate. Okay, turning again, turning again. Okay, very good. Now there are only so many ways that the human body can generate power. Obviously up, down, rotational, forward, sometimes back. Okay, you always go along with the energy. Okay, so in Tumkyo, actually we utilize all of them. Okay, because we want to achieve efficiency, you use the whole body for every strike or every defense that you're going to be applying. So that's some of the attributes you see. Next, I'd like to demonstrate some of the basic fundamental drills that you can enhance the concept of Tumkyo, such as mobility, coordinations, and the power. Strike without motion, without mobility is not much of a strike. Okay? Even today, we know one guy's got mobility is normally a better fighter than a guy who cannot move. So let's use some of the punching techniques, a hand technique, combined with the mobility of footwork to demonstrate some of the drills that you can practice. First one, straight punch. Idea is to develop coordination, okay, and understanding the proper structure, where you're making contacts, okay, straight wrist, elbow down. Okay, so you can do sets of hundreds, okay. On average, a professional boxer, they do about 20,000 punch per training. So if we martial artists train as intense, then hey, that's what we need. Okay, so you must drill the technique that you learn from the form, not just by practicing the forms. So you can do punches. Okay, depends on your level that you practice, you can upgrade your intensities. Okay, now we're going to the Tumkyu stances. Okay, we have what we call right stance, left stance. So you can practice along with that. Okay, right stance, left stance. Okay, what this gives you is extended distance and more torque into your punch. Okay, so in addition to the turning stance, the side stance, then you have a bracing stance. Okay, let's do an example for outside bracing. Okay, so you step out, brace, step out, brace. Okay, you can imagine you are lopping your opponents. Lop, da, lop, da, lop, da, lop, da. So some of the footwork you can do. And also you can do the inside. Inside bracing. Inside bracing. So a drill can help you to refine some of the attributes you develop in the form. Timing, okay? Actually feeling the energy you are developing, okay? How about moving along straight? A simple exercise would be Big Ma. Okay, you can set a certain rhythm. 1 step, 3 punch. Or 1 step, 1 punch. Okay? Beginners, let's start with 1 step, 1 punch. Okay? Or you can advance into 3 punches. Follow with a Big Ma, you can do Biu Ma. Okay? So if your opponent is retreating, you want to catch him up. You want to catch, so you can take a bigger step. So let's watch that again. So you can keep up with the distance on target. Kicking will give you the extension of the legs, okay, which you create a distance advantage, and also power. Okay, our legs are normally much stronger than the hands, so those two are the advantages. But there's a disadvantage. Okay, we humans stand on 2 legs, so as soon as you pick up 1 leg to kick, you basically distorted your balance. So therefore, one of the first ability you got to have is balance. So one of the basic exercises could help you just develop balance. So ability to just kick without losing the balance. Okay, so you can use your partner as a distance. Okay, once you have that capability, then actually release your power. Okay, without affecting. So if you kick like this, then you lose your balance. Then in essence, that kick will hurt you because you lose your balance after you deal with kick. So you must have control of your balance. So one of the first drill you do, step to the center, find your balance, kick, maintain structure, come down, then do the other side. Step, kick. Okay? Step, kick. Step, kick. Step, kick. Okay? You're stepping to your center. Kicking is very important, okay? But still, just like the hands, you must have the ability to kick on the move. Not stop and pick up your foot and kick. By then, the opponent is somewhere else already. So all the abilities teach you how to move and strike, move and kick same time. So same thing. You try to move and kick. Move, kick. Move, kick. Okay? So give you some ability. If your structure is going the opposite way than your target, then the problem will be created like this. You have no balance. Okay? So again, if you're going to kick that way, your energy, your structure have to go that way. So again, you'll see how this footwork is being applied. Okay? So I didn't lose any momentum going back. So one way to develop that is go ahead, do it exactly like the form. Let's say he comes in. You don't want to do this. Okay? Okay, everything is under control. You kick and finish exactly where you started. Back here. Okay? So some of the kicking drills you can do, including the moving, kick. He can charge in, kick. It's a way to find out if you have the Tumkyu body structures. This concludes the Chumkyu tape, which is basically a reference for the skill at intermediate level of Wing Chun system. Intermediate level is what we call application stage. Okay, at this stage, you should be able to start to apply some of your Kung Fu. Next series of tape I'd like to demonstrate will be the Chi Sao equivalent of this intermediate level. I want to say thank you for my assistant, Jeremy, and also hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for watching. Welcome to the tape 4 on the Yip Man Wing Chun series. Tape 3 dealing with the Chumkyu form. Tape 4 is the Chi Sao equivalent of the Chumkyu level, which is what we call the intermediate Chi Sao. I'd like to introduce my assistant, Jeremy Rorick. He's been helping me with the previous series. This series of Chi Sao dealing with the fundamental, the essence of Chi Sao, which we're going to break it into what we call Luk Sao, Jip Sao, Zao Sao, Dan Da, and Toi Ma. Luk Sao, literal translation means rolling, ability to apply your structure and to deal with the incoming energy, Luk Sao. So that's the foundation. And second is Jip Sao, means catching hand, maintaining your proper structure on the center line. And then Zao Sao, when your energy is being forced away from center, how you recover that. And then ultimately, when you have a good structure dealing with proper energy, then you go into the basic single-handed strike called Dan Da, indoor hand and outdoor hand. And last, when you put everything together with the correct body structures, that's called Toi Ma. The first step of Chi Sao is dealing with, again, proper positions of Tan Bong Fuk. Pun Sao, dealing with proper positions, relationship to Tan Bong Fuk. Now, Luk Sao, you're going to continue to put the motion into it, but with proper energy. So energy is one of the hardest part of training because it's something that you have to feel rather than just something that you can just see and look, especially in this type of format. From the Pun Sao perspective, we have Tan, Bong, and Fuk Sao. So once you understand the platform of rolling, so reality is that application, you must learn how to deal with energy. Now, how do you deal with energy using Tan, Bong, Fuk? The motion of rolling here is not for the sake of rolling. It's dealing with how do you deal with incoming energy. For example, the first sequence of rolling, dealing with a high Fuk into a low Fuk. From Bong Sao into Tan Sao, okay? Now, why do we go in that particular order? It's because, in essence, if he applies some structure or energy coming into my Bong Sao, okay, how do I deal with that? I can push forward, which means, in essence, energy against energy. So that's force against force. If I'm bigger, I win. But if he's stronger, I lose. So therefore, Wing Chun, we have also a soft way, which means that we don't fight with force. So if he apply energy forward, I simply change into Tan Sao. So what I have done is redirected or dissolve his energy. That is what Tan Sao means, to dissipate, to spread out. So any type of energy comes forward, Tan. If he overexert his energy, not only that gonna become an opportunity for me, see, now he can lean forward, which creates an opening. So the purpose of rolling from high futsal to low futsal is to train from bong to tan. Okay? Now, this is something you cannot see. You cannot see how much energy. So this is something you have to feel. So one of the exercises you do is first have partner A, Jeremy, is giving me 4 energy. Then I want to be able to harmonize that to meet that energy until I no longer can hold it. Then I simply change position from bong to tan. Now let's look at the other side. Same thing, I'm not going to fight it. I'm going to try to go with the energy. So to be efficient, okay, going forward would be force against force because the energy is coming forward. So I would be changing the angle of the force by going down. So the harder he push, very easy for me to take advantage of that without using excessive force. So simply, if I sense energy going forward, I go down. Okay? Of course, within this, he also developed his reflex. So as I go down, he changed into tan sao. So you see both partners actually moving according to the proper energy. Again, from bong he pushed forward, I dropped to fuk, which he changed to tan. Okay? So this area you must understand. So if I give him energy from my right bong sao, I push forward, then naturally he's going to change to low. Then I find that center line back again, so I have to change to tan sao. So in order to be harmonizing, then this side have to be rotating along with, okay, so if we are discussing energy from my right bong sao, okay, as he pushed forward, then I drop to 10, and this side also changed along with it, okay? So because you cannot just have one side move and the other side don't move, okay? So at this basic level, you need to keep the platform correct. So once go up, the other comes down. Okay, so we continue what we call a circle of energies. Okay, so you try to find a balance there. So in realms of understanding Luksao, you must talk about energy. That is what we mean. You're harmonizing your energy. He push forward, I go down, and this hand comes up. Now if I push forward, and he rolls. So right now my futsal push forward, he roll. His futsal push forward, I roll. So you can start understanding the mechanics, why we do rolling hand. This is called Luksao, okay? So there are some of conditions, let's break it down. Futsal push, bong to tan. Bong sao push, high fuk to low fuk, then I change to tan, okay? From the other side, if I go, okay, from a tan to low fuk, if I go forward, then he jut. That would be the proper response. Okay, so that is looking at Chi Sao from an energy perspective. Okay, now give you an example. If we roll, my hand dropped. This is not an energy problem. This is positional problem. Now this hand is too low, so which give him the criteria. Okay, give him the condition to hit me. Therefore, he hit me because I opening up. Okay, so you could get hit based on your bad position. Okay, same thing if my roll and my elbow's way out, then this door is open, so he's gonna let me know. Okay, based on the center line, my center line is off, so therefore he hits me. And those are examples of bad position, so result is that you get hit. Now, dealing with Luksao, now you take it up to a different level, okay? Luksao is that you look at the condition of getting hit or being hit from the energy perspective, okay? If I touch somebody's hands and it's totally soft and totally limb, what kind of martial art technique is that? It's limb, okay? Relax doesn't mean it's limb, okay? You have to have structure behind it. It's not dead energy. So the structure is coming from proper positions, okay? So when we roll dealing with energies, okay, if I feel that his hand have no energy, then I can just take away his hand and hit him because no energy. If there's no energy here, I can just jet it down and punch. Okay, because it's not harmonized energy-wise. So I can strike him based on energy. Or if I feel that he has too much energy, right now he's expanding his energy. He's using tension. Well, that's fine because energy is too much, becomes excessive. So I can take advantage of that, which affects his whole body. So you don't want to have too much energy or too little energy. So energy part is much harder to master than certain positions. So by having energy, then you start to really understand if you have a good position. But only when you put the proper energy in, then you understand if you have a good position or not. So as we start to rolling, okay, I start feeling his energy. If you give me more energy here, I will respond to it. If you give me energy here, okay, I respond to it. If I give him energy here, he will respond to it. Basically, it looks out provide you two reasons for striking opponents. One, that if his position is bad, hands not on the center line, okay, elbows being jammed, or too high or too low, okay, those are position problems. So you have an opportunity to hit. Second is based on his energy. Too much energy, too little energy. So that's why with looks out, looks very simple, but actually this is foundation for all the strikes. So as an instructor training the students, you must have proper positions. By correcting your student's position, then you must provide him with the energy so he can respond properly. Okay, I'm giving him energy with my focus out, so he roll. Okay, he's got it. So I give him energy on the bounce out. Okay, he roll, he's got it. If I goes forward with my tons out, he jut. Okay, so right now he can respond without thinking. So because of the proper energy I provided. So looks out provide the platform for future techniques. Okay, next we'd like to move in jib sao. Jib in Cantonese means to catch. Now what are we catching here? Is when we changed from the outdoor hand going into an indoor hand, then we have to change position. Okay? So the purpose is not just, okay, well, we roll and roll for 2 hours, so we got tired, so we must change. No, that's not the main reason, okay? For me to leave the center line, to go back to the center line, is to train if his energy and his position stay inconsistent on the center, okay? In Wing Chun, we have a saying, don't chase after the hands. So if I drop my hands, if his energy is going down, his energy is going to go down. That proves that his energy is not going in the right directions, okay? Now, if my Tan Sao's energy is going out, okay, and then when he take his Fuk Sao away, then my hand's going to go out. So those are conditions where you can actually see that your energy is not going the right direction. So where you want your energy to go? To the center. Okay? So all the energy is going towards the center. So when I, as an instructor that's training his hands, I want to make sure his structure and energy is going in the right direction. So as I take my hand off, his energy should be able to relax and stay on the center line rather than chasing after my hands like this, dropping it. Okay? So as I drop my hand, his hand stays on center line, so he's responding to proper energy by relaxing it. And then I'm going to hit back, and also this is opportunities for me to test if his structure is strong or not. Because if I run and hit, if I hit and his hands go all over the place, again, there's not enough energy there. Okay, so a way to check that is what we call jib sao. So he is actually catching the incoming energy, so he has to learn how to deal with that. So from Fuk Sao going to Tan Sao. From Fuk Sao going to Tan Sao. From Tan Sao going to Fuk Sao. Now, me doing the running, he's doing the catching, so I provide him with structure so he can catch with. So my hand is a structure, and I'm providing him with energy. As we roll, I can change, and he plays catch. Now you notice the timing factor. As I run, the last second, he changed. Because as soon as I run and then he changed the technique, that means it's already, okay, telegraphic. He committed a technique without the proper timing. It's too early. So you must also take into account the proper timing. Catching, 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 catching. So at this stage of catching jib sao, you primarily learn how to stay at the center line and be able to let go of the energy when there's no need for you to apply excessive energy. Again, okay, if he forced my hand down, naturally your energy have to equalize that by going up. So this could be a trap, but he could let go. Okay, if he let go, my hands bounce up. Okay, that proves my energy is wrong. So my energy also has to be able to, if he let go, my energy gotta let go. So I'm not gonna be trapped by his energy. So if he presses down, okay, my elbow holds that in position. If he let go, okay, I'm relaxed too. So I'm not gonna be overcommitting. If you overcommit, that's gonna happen to you. So that's excessive in energy. Okay, so that's why first step is make sure your hand stays. So you learn how to relax, which is an attribute you should already have from the Silim Tao. Now you are really testing if you have the proper structure, because I'm actually providing you with the energy that's coming towards your bridge. Okay? The second phase into Jip-Sao is that when I let go, he's not going to stay there anymore. Okay, we've been training that his hand stays on the center. Now he must provide the proper energy by going forward. We call Lat Sao Zik Chung, hands off, thrust forward. Okay, because at the basic stage, if I let go of the hand and your hand stays, then there's a time delay because you lost the opportunity because I opened up myself. He should have a chance to hit me. So therefore, now he moved into the second progression. When I let go of his hand had to thrust forward. Okay, that tells me he's responding with proper timing, with the proper energy flow, which is going back to the center line. So now when I run, he's going to go forward. Then I catch, then he's going to catch. So I deliberately to check if his hands are responding with the proper forward energy. So every time you see I let go, he responds with the forward energy by letting go of his energy towards my center. So this consists of what we call Jip-Sao. Okay, once you have basic idea, understand, which is maintaining your center and then projecting the energy forward, then you can go into a little bit more lively expression. Now I'm really applying a lot of energy to develop his structure. You see, the little space I let go, he had the room to go forward. That means his center is good and his energy is proper. His energy didn't chase after my hands. Okay, so you can see this is reinforcements of basic rolling, not just roll, but now from inside to outside, you are also learning how to respond with this. Okay, let's continue with the next progression, which is Zao Sao. Zao in Cantonese means to walk. Okay, in essence, we call it running hand. Okay, now that you are being forced away from the center, so you're not going to meet that energy head on. So therefore, you take a better position. We call it running hand. So let's see how it works. Okay, before I deliberately take my hand off to train Jeremy's catching hand. Okay, now that he's going to force my hand, okay, such as the Tan Sao, forcing my hands out. So because he's going away from his center line, I don't want to stay with him in a bad position. So I want to run back to my good position. So therefore, again, we don't want to chase after the hand, especially if you have a bad hand, the energy is going away from the center. So as he's pressing my hand down, so there's no need for me to stick because he's going away from my center. So therefore, I'm going to run back to my center line. We call this running hand. So I can, as an instructor, provide that stimulus so you train him not to stick or to chase after my bad energy. So from here, I push out, so he run back. Then I'll go back, I can push down, he run back. So always using the center line, okay? So you train your hand not to run away from center, not to chase after the bad position. Okay, because a lot of time when we use the technique, if a bad strike is coming over this way, it would be a mistake for him to go out here and block it. It would be much efficient if he would have just hit me right here. Okay, so you don't want to chase after the hands. So same idea here. So as I'm training him, I force his hand away. We call this running. Okay, he can force my hand out, I run. I run. Notice where I run to is back to center line. Okay, that's the basic progression. Now, second progression, now this is where both partners are working on something. Okay, for example, if I run, if he runs, then also he's forcing me to catch. So I'm going to force him out of center, but also I'm going to learn how to recover my center. So actually I'm doing both running and catching. So I'm forcing him to run so I can catch. I'm forcing him to run so I can catch. I'm forcing him to run, I can catch. So vice versa, he can force me to run, but at the same time he's also have to develop catching. So it's both sides working on something. So he's forcing my hand to run. I'm going to hit back to the center. That's the quickest way to go back to center. So therefore force him to catch again. So now it's both running and catching. 早手接手. Okay, you see a double run there. So everything is based on the center and the proper energy. So if I force him and then I cut his center again, then he might have to do a double run. Okay, so at this stage is developing proper reactions. So he run, I catch. Oh, I run again, then I catch again. Okay, so the motion could be very fast based on individual attributes. Okay, so we call this 倒手接手. Now what we have done is 碌手, 接手, 走手. Okay, now let's look at 單打. Basically 單打what we call single-handed strike. You can strike from the inside or strike from the outside. Okay, this not only introduces the basic hand strike, but also putting all the previous exercise together. Okay, so as we roll, oh, I find that his tanzao is too low. So allow me to challenge him by me throwing a punch. This is called outdoor single punch. Okay, let's watch it from this hand. So if his tanzao too low, I can challenge him, punch him. Because as I punch him, his structure is too low. He have no leverage to recover. So therefore, I have the proper condition to punch him. Okay, so as we roll, we try to find the distortion in each other's center line. Again, if my tanzao too low, he can punch. Okay, so this has been an outdoor strike, straight punch. Okay, vice versa, you have an indoor hand, tanzao. So suddenly if his elbow out of the center, or I feel the energy is too weak, then allow me to do a palm strike indoor. Okay, so from a foot, you can punch. From the tan, you can palm. Okay, let's generally demonstrate. From foot, you can punch. From tan, you can palm. So we call indoor palm, outdoor punch. So we call 單打. Because why it's called 單打, single hand strike? As one hand strikes, the other hand is maintain control, maintaining the same stationary positions. Okay, because you don't want to strike and this hand goes bad. Okay, so one hand in essence is to support. Me controlling Jeremy's 綁手, so I have the proper structure to hit him when his other hand is in a bad position. So we train basic one-handed strikes, okay, based on each other's distortion. So for instructor, I can deliberately create a mistake. Oh, I open up my elbow, so he strikes. Oh, my tanzao too low, strike. So this is basic conditioning. Again, allow you to reach to a stage where you can have a instant reflex rather than have to think about it or have to look at it. So as you roll, he opens up, okay? Or I can force him out, and because now we are introduced with a strike, he no longer just hit the center line or go to the empty space. He actually have to make contact now because now he is being introduced with basic strikes. So as my hands goes bad, I force him out. he actually hits me. Okay, so you're closer to the reality of applying your technique. Okay, same thing. I can punch, and he overreact with the time start going away, then I can run back and palm strike him. Let's look at that again. Okay, so as I palm strike, he juts. So now I'm not going to chase after a downward motion. I'm going to continue to hit him by doing a run. So now you can see how running and catching actually is to train to support your single-handed strikes. Later on, you will have an unstoppable single-handed strike. Okay, watch. As I palm strike him, he jut, I run. So it's like you have a backup system. Okay. Now again, everything is based on previously what you've been training for. We roll, both partners have good position, but suddenly his hands become weak. He drops his hand, so I strike him. Boom. But if he's good, he will recover by time. But if he overshoot his time, so I run again and I sit him. I palm strike. So either way, I will hit him. So this type of progression allows you to have a simple strike, which is unstoppable. Okay? Okay. So far, what you're seeing is pretty static. We don't move. Okay. So you actually develop a basic foundation. It's just like ceiling tile. Okay. But the dynamic, the reality of combat is all about motion. So now the last stage, dealing with putting the footwork of Chum-Kyu into your strike. So we go back to Lok-Sao. I can go back and go forward. Okay. So if he comes forward, I can reabsorb his energy. So right now it's like a dance. We're maintaining certain space. But again, it's using body to find his weakness through the motions. Okay, you see his Fuksao, my Fuksao can hit him because his Tansao drop. Okay, because once the momentum being created, if you can move and still maintain your center, then you have it. Okay, next level, same thing. I can put everything together. I feel a center line open, I strike him. Okay. So strike, you always have to have support of the leg. You cannot just hit him. You must strike with the body. That means my foot have to support my hand. So a realistic hit is done with the footwork. Okay? This is start to move. Those are some of the movement you can put back to the exercise. Okay, now you have seen some of the logic progression for this series of Chi Sao. Okay, the purpose behind the exercise. Okay, important thing is that you actually put the time into your training. So now me and Jeremy is going to have some fun. We're going to do some of the basic training based on what we went over from Lok-Sao to Jip Sao, Zao Sao to the Dan Da, the single-handed strike along with the horse. Okay? Okay, let's break down. If I throw a strike, he juts. I can run. That's the benefit of running him. If he runs, I can let out the tongue. So you start to see how everything put together. Okay, everything go back to the foundation. Now let's look at the benefits of Lok-Sao from dissolving the energy point of view, ability to redirect the energy. So this time, Jeremy is going to try to hit me, and I will only roll hands to dissolve his energy. So every time I shut him down by taking away his center and redirect his energy. Jut. Con. Okay? Again, his hands way outside of his center. So I have advantage. And I'm keeping my center occupied. Okay? Ability to function at this level is basic structure what you are searching for the Tumkyo. So that's why this level of exercise give you the core Qisao exercise, which further enhance your ability to use your Wen Chun Kung Fu with proper structure of the body. Okay? You notice that we call a single-handed strike. Again, this is basic introduction of Qisao. In essence, you can use both hands to strike. Okay? But you must master or have proficiency in the body mechanics within the bridge of your own body, called as searching the bridge. Okay? Another factor is that if you look at this is the mid part. How come I have not hit his face? How come I don't use the kicks? Okay, again, because this is still developmental stage. At the further development into the BUG, which is thrusting fingers, then you're dealing with more advanced applications, which means as a combat system, you gotta have ability to attack the higher gate, the middle gate, as well as the low kicks. So advanced Qisao dealing with attacking upper gate, middle gate, as well as kicking to the lower gates. But for now, dealing with Tumkyo Qisao, important thing is based on Lok Sao, ability to dissolve energy, ability to take your center line away, and provided that you maintain your own bridge. Let's watch a few more minutes. So we both sides can go. Now I'd like to go into Toima a little bit more in depth. Okay, so Toima is important because you start putting the body structures involving greater energy into the hands. So you must have a proper understanding of distance maintenance, maintaining certain structures, as well as the ability to use your body behind the hands. So Toima, first progression, you have a senior and a junior relationship. Okay, so as a senior, I'm going to push Jeremy. So as I'm pushing, he's simply maintaining his structures. As I'm pulling him, he does the same. So as we're doing a little bit more realistic, more energy, you see, as I increase the energy, his hands might collapse or he might create too far of a distance. If I step forward, he step back too far, okay? So there's a distance problem. So his whole objective is maintain balance and maintain the proper distance, okay? So as I'm training him, I'm working on pushing. I'm pushing him with my bridge, not with a push of the hands, okay? So I'm transferring my body energy into my bridge and through his body. Same thing, you gotta have the ability to draw his energy back. Okay, so this is the first basic detail on the progression by maintaining proper balance and distance. Okay, now once he have that awareness, then he must also have a chance to learn his pushing. So now he does the same to the partner again. So as Jeremy push, I maintain a certain distance. Okay, maintain my structures. He's going to push me, so I'm not going to be losing my structures okay? I'm not going to be collapsing here, okay? This is a very important point. When you go out and do your forms, we always maintain these structures, okay? Why? If you're going to use your hand to strike, you must maintain certain distance. If he grabs my elbow, okay, and when I have a distance, I can always deal with that. But once he pushes my hand where I'm jammed, then only thing I can do is commit to wrestling, or commit to grappling, or commit to throwing. So Wing Chun, we want to maintain a distance where you can do everything. Okay, so if you collapse your elbows, you can no longer strike. So that's why at this stage of a game, you got to maintain your elbow positions, maintain your body structures. So as he's coming in with the energy, I changed positions, but I did not sacrifice my structure. So that's very important. So as you can see, as his energy is coming towards me, I'm simply redirecting it so I can maintain my structure as well as my space. So now you're giving the ability to really understand balance and ability to move. Okay, so you have two of the most important elements for combat applications: balance, stability, and mobility. For summary, I'd like to point out really in realms of application. Now you having the capability of using some of the basic tools of Wing Chun. Okay, now you already learned how to move. Okay, you have some offensive, defensive concept, ability to move. Okay, you have to look at it from the concept of really applications. Okay, in realms of applications, you have to understand the distance awareness. Okay, most of the system, they specialize in certain distance. Okay, let's look at Wing Chun. Why does people think Wing Chun is close range art? Okay, it's not that we like it close range, because Wing Chun is dealing with combat, and combat is dealing with realities. Okay, if you look at the distance, right now we are not in a combat distance. Why? If you look at it, there's no way I can hit him. So we are actually outside of a combat distance. Okay, so this is really outside of what we call combat space. So at this stage, I'm aware of that. But if I move, such as a good kicker in Taekwondo, okay, a little half a step, then I already come into what we call combat distance. But combat distance, you have kicking, striking, trapping, and grabbing and throwing distance. So maybe if he's not a kicker, he might not aware of that I already have a long weapon that I can kick him with. Okay, my longest weapon in this case is my back foot. So this would become my weapons. So at this stage, he's already in the combat zone. So you must totally be aware of this distance. Because if you fight with a certain style, okay, and you only train with your own people and you have no reality of what other people does, so you have no reality of distance, then you're already at a disadvantage. So that's why we like to analyze why Wing Chun prefer to fight inside rather than outside, okay? Now, even though I have the longest distance with the back foot, but from a long distance point of view, it will create longer time. Second, it's only one technique is available to you, okay, which is the back foot. So that means as a combat system, you have to take longer time to go in there, and you can only apply one technique at a time. So at this distance, there's not much you can do except kick the guy with the back foot, or kick him with the front foot with the footwork. Okay, so that is the reality of long distance. Okay, so reality, if you're going to engage with your opponents, you're going to have to use everything. Now, for you to use everything, you cannot just stay at a kicking distance. If some guys really want to hurt you, he's going to come in. Okay, or you're not going to stay just at what we call short kicking range. So we have long kicking range. Okay, now we have short kicking range. Short kicking range is where your front foot can hit your opponents. That's short kicking range. And also, short kicking range is the equivalent to long striking range. Okay? So long strike, short kicks is the same range. Okay? Now, as you move closer, you see that your option for combat start to increase. Before, I can only kick him. Now, okay, I'm at a short kicking distance. I can continue to kick him, but I can strike him. I can kick him with both feet now, but I can only strike him one hand at a time. Okay? So as distance increases, you have less option. As distance decreases, you give him more option. Okay? So from long distance into short kicking, into long striking, now we move into what we call Wing Chun striking zone. Wing Chun striking zone is what we call close range striking. Close range strike is where both my hand can hit. If both my hand can hit, I can kick him both feet. If both feet can hit, I'm close enough to grab him. So right now at this reality, you have maximum variable tools. You can grab, you can kick, you can strike, okay, block. You can trap, you can knee, you can sweep. So reality happens right here, okay? If you're dealing with some guy really want to hurt you, he's going to come in and hurt you. So you must feel comfortable at this range. And it's at this range, all your tools of combat is available. Okay, now if you go inside of this, where you're dealing with grapplings, you're dealing with, okay, some kind of wrestling, then again, you're going back to less option. At that particular time, you can only sweep, grab. Okay, the strikes become less efficient. Certainly, you're going to have a problem with kicking. So it's at the Wing Chun distance, we call short striking distance. Sometimes we call it a trapping range. Is where your kicks, your strike, your trap, and your grab is available to you. So that's why Chisao is at this range. Our techniques is based on efficiency in space because we don't need to really fully extend. Okay? So if he gave me a really fully extended technique, it's very important to understand he is actually increasing his chance of being counterattacked. So by understanding the basic reality of different stages of distance, then this kind of give you an idea of why do we need Samkyu? Because Samkyu give you the footwork, learn how to move, provided that you have the same body structure of Siulim Tao, which is maximum efficiency dealing with human combat based on 2 hands and 2 feet. For conclusion, I want to use this opportunity to have Jeremy have an opportunity to speak about his experience and have a few word of wisdom based on the stuff that we mentioned in the videos.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so we've covered in the last 4 tapes Siulim Tao exercises, Chumkyu, and the Chumkyu exercises. So there's 2 key things I want to bring out as being important when you're training, and it comes from my own experience and my experience with my classmates. The first is thinking about the progression in terms of training. When you begin in Siulim Tao, you're taught one thing at a time. So you see each piece that you're taught as individual and separate. For example, you begin your form, first thing you learn how to do is stand, and then raise my arms, okay, that's one thing, okay? And then put them away, okay, good, that's 2. Okay, open up, 1, 2, push the hip forward, 1, okay? Now, hands down, hands up, bring it back. So when you begin your training, you see everything is distinct and everything is separate. So you can imagine you're going to learn 4 things, you see each one is separate. But as your Kung Fu grows and as you begin to get more experience, you go on, you learn the second section. So I'm going to turn my hand over and I'm going to release power. But to release it and release it well, I've got to use my elbow and I've got to use my wrist. I've got to use these 2 things that are separate, but they have to behave like one thing. So you can think of it, you've got these 2 separate pieces, but through training you learn how to make them one. So your Kung Fu, instead of being separate, it gets stronger because you've integrated those 2 pieces. So now you only see them as one thing. So whenever I put my hand out, I know it's 2 pieces working together. Same when I begin this form. Now that I've done the second section, I can see a new way to play this, that really it's my wrist and my elbow, or it's my elbow and my shoulder working together to get my power into the punch. So my Kung Fu changes. Now instead of 4 separate things, I see 3 things. The 2 plus 2 separate things. So then when you get to the third section of Siulim Tao, you learn how to put your hand out, but at an angle. and go back to center, again at an angle. So you see how you have the elbow, you have the wrist, two separate pieces, but you know they're one thing, but now you're moving in a larger arena. It's not just one direction. You're thinking about how to move your hand, how to maintain energy, so you're doing a lot more than just one thing. But really, you're still only learning two things. The two that you already know, which are now one thing, meaning the wrist and the elbow, how they work together, and now you're adding in how to use angles. So you're only learning, integrating two pieces. Put that together, now your Kung Fu is even stronger. And to an outsider, it might look like four separate things, but for you, it's only two things again. One really big thing, and one separate thing, which is your new piece of information. So as you progress through your training, you can see that all the exercises build on each other, but they don't just prepare you for the next. They make your previous exercises, your previous skills better as well, because a higher level of Kung Fu requires all of your foundation to get better, as well as prepare you to learn more things. So if you approach your training from that point of view, it'll make it a lot better. Your Kung Fu will grow as you progress, rather than just being a linear progression of pieces. You'll actually be building a triangle shape, where the foundation gets wider the higher you go. The foundation has to be wider to support the very top. In Chum Kiu, it's no longer two things work as one, it's three things. You're learning how to use the structure you've already developed from Sun and Tao, the rotation of your limbs, and the use of your footwork for mobility. So it's learning how to put those three elements together that really brings out the skill of the Chum Kiu. And the second key thing that's important when you're training is Wing Chun's a close range art. Wing Chun requires a partner. You have to have somebody to train with to learn about how to fight. Playing forms by yourself won't make you a good fighter, won't make you understand combat. You have to have a partner, someone to feed you energy, someone to help build your skill up. So there's an important key component when you're training with a partner is every exercise you begin, it's a cooperation. You have to work with your partner so you both can develop. If I train with my juniors and I get something out of it and they don't get anything, then really I've wasted their time or I've taken advantage of them. So whenever you train, you want to try and build up skill for both people. If I train and I get this much skill and they train and they get this much skill, well, pretty soon I can't train with them anymore because I'm not going to learn anything. Because they can't challenge me, they can't push me to my limit because they're not any good and I'm very good. So I have to work to make sure that as my skill grows, I bring everybody else in my class up so that we all have equal skill, so that we can all push each other and reach new levels in our own training. So you have this idea of a cooperation. But at the same time, as my skill gets better, I need somebody to test me, so I have to compete with my peers, with my classmates, to see who's got what, okay, who's got better reaction, who has a better sense of timing, who has quicker hands, who has a better ability to relax, who has better footwork. We have to have that sense of competition so that I'm pushing myself and I'm using somebody else to help push me along. But it's always with the attitude that it's for a good purpose, it's for cooperation. It's not, I'm trying to prove I'm a better person or my skill is better. It's to help each other get better. We have to have a little bit of pressure, a little bit of stress, and that's the only way we can make ourselves better. If it's total cooperation, you never push each other, then when you get into a real fight, somebody's going to want to take your head off. You're not used to dealing with that energy, that emotion. You're not going to not know how to deal with it. Your Kung Fu is going to break down. So your training has to match that to some degree with your partners. And it's better to think of your classmates as partners rather than as opponents. Opponents only when you're outside. When you're inside, you have to train like a family, train like a brotherhood, so you can build the skill together. So I want to say thank you to my Sifu Ming, for giving me this opportunity to talk and to be a part of this video series.
Thank you for my assistant Jeremy, and also hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for watching.